Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Today, I want to address a question that came to me from a viewer. They sent me an email asking me, what do you think are the best options for everyday carry from different manufacturers? What do I think are the best carry guns from Ruger, from CZ, etc.? Well, today, I thought I would answer that question, or at least start answering that question, starting with Smith & Wesson, one of my favorite manufacturers. What do I think are the best firearms from Smith & Wesson that they currently make for everyday carry and concealment? Now, before I get started, I'm going to do a little disclaimer here. Everyone's going to get on me because there aren't going to be any polymer guns on this list. Well, Smith & Wesson makes too many guns for polymer to even be considered for me because I don't like polymer. I'm not saying they're bad guns. They're just not my favorite, so they're not going to make my list. They might be on your list, but in that case, make your video and put them on your list, and I won't object to that. But with that being said, let's get started on what I think are the best or top 5 carry gun options from Smith & Wesson. All right, at number 5 is a gun I absolutely love. It's a gun I also own, and it's a gun I carry. In fact, it's the gun I carry when I want to be very concealed, that I don't want anyone else to know I'm carrying a gun. In fact, when I carry this gun, often I don't even realize I'm carrying a gun. And it is the Smith & Wesson 360 PD. Now, this is a little 5-shot 357 Magnum J-frame revolver. It has a barrel that's just under 2 inches. It's like 1.8 something inches long. It is easily concealable because it is very small. Now, it doesn't hold the most rounds. Like I said, it's 5 shots, but it's 5 shots of 357 Magnum in a package no one's even going to know you have on you. So this is an awesome gun, and it only weighs 11.7 ounces. So like I said, sometimes I'm not even aware I'm carrying it. It is so light. It has a titanium cylinder. It has a scandium frame. It's just a gun that is made for carry. Now, sure, it's not the easiest shooting gun, but if you ever have to shoot to defend your life, I don't think you're going to be worried about how easy it shoots. And like I said, this gun is so great for carry. I actually carried this gun into a place the other night that was wanding us and frisking us before we went in. And I still managed to get in unmolested because this gun is so small and they missed it. So number 5 on my list, like I already said, is the Smith & Wesson 360 PD. Now at number 4 on the list is a heavier gun and a larger gun. It is the Smith & Wesson Model 69 Combat Magnum. Now what I love about this gun is even though it is a little bit bigger and a little bit heavier, it's not real big. It's an L frame, which is a moderate-sized revolver, but it brings you into the 44 Magnum territory. It holds 5 rounds of 44 Magnum. You don't see 44 in medium-sized guns very often, so this is the perfect intro carry gun to that caliber. Now, this is an all-stainless steel gun, doesn't use any of the lightweight materials, so it's a little heavier. It's 34.4 ounces, but that's still very carryable. And that extra weight helps you absorb the recoil of that 44 Magnum. So that's why I love this gun, because it's relatively small. It's not the heaviest gun you'll ever carry, and it doesn't have the highest capacity, but it brings 44 Magnum into the mix. And that's why I love this gun so much. It is a small, carryable 44 Magnum gun. This gun will take down a moose if you have to, and you never know when you're going to run into a moose at the bus stop, the deli, wherever. So you might want to be prepared. And the best way to be prepared for that is the Smith & Wesson Model 69 Combat Magnum. All right, the next gun on the list is another 44 Magnum because I think 44 Magnum is a perfectly acceptable carry round, especially if you live in the boonies like I do. This gun is the 329 PD from Smith & Wesson. Now this is another 44 Magnum revolver, but it carries 1 more round. It's also lighter than the smaller 69 because it uses the scandium frame, the titanium cylinder. It is a much lighter gun. It's better to carry. You barely notice you're carrying it, even though it's a larger gun with a longer barrel. It's got a 4-inch barrel to give you a little more ballistics. Now, you might think this gun would be super hard to shoot because of that lightweight gun. I believe it's 25 ounces, just a hair over maybe. And you might think that's going to be really hard to shoot 44 Magnum from, but it's really not, because this is an in-frame gun. It's a larger frame than the 69, so it has a larger grip, and it really helps you control that recoil. You get your hands on it really good. So this is an awesome gun. This is the gun I carry probably 90% of the time. Love this gun. It's great for open carry. You can conceal it. It's powerful. Like I said, it doesn't have the most rounds of any gun, but it's got 6, and it's not just 6 of anything. I'd rather have 6 44 Magnum than I would 20 of some other rounds. So that's why this gun is where it is on the list, the Smith & Wesson 329 PD. All right, next here on the list is a gun that's very similar to the 329, but it's in a different caliber and has higher capacity. It's the Smith & Wesson 327 PD. Now, this gun uses the same lightweight scandium frame, the titanium cylinder, so it's very light. It's actually lighter than the 329. It's 22.5 ounces. It's in that range, 22.6 or something like that. And part of the reason it's lighter is it has a smaller barrel. Instead of having a 4-inch barrel, it's got a 2-inch barrel. Now, it looks like a 1-inch barrel when you look at it, but that's because it's a 2-inch barrel on an in-frame revolver. This is the large frame, just like the 44 Magnum 329, except it's chambered in 8 rounds of 357 Magnum instead of 6 rounds of 44 Magnum. And I think this is an awesome carry gun. It's very lightweight, like I said. It's very easy to conceal and has 8 rounds of 357 Magnum, which I actually think is better for most people than 6 rounds of 44 Magnum, because most people would prefer 357 Magnum. This is a gun that I own, and I would actually carry it more if it wasn't for the fact that I love the 329 PD so much, because I do think this is a better carry gun for most people, and probably a little bit better of a carry gun overall because of that short barrel. Once again, it's a light gun with a heavy caliber, so you might worry about controllability. How easy is it to shoot? Well, once again, that big in-frame size grip makes this gun quite controllable. It is snappy. In some ways, I think it's snappier than the 329, but it's still a controllable gun. And like I said, if you're under duress and you need to fire your weapon, you're probably not going to notice that little bit of snap. If you can handle it at the range for, 5 or 10 rounds, you'll be able to handle it when it comes to self-defense. So that's why this gun is where it's at on my list. It's actually the second best carry gun for self-defense that Smith & Wesson makes. It's the Smith & Wesson 327 PD. All right, now we're to the number 1 gun on the list. And I think a lot of people out there know that I think the 686 Plus from Smith & Wesson is probably one of the best guns ever made, period. But they make several in that line. So I kind of had to choose one for the top position. I didn't want to just make this whole list versions of the 686. So what I am choosing is the 586 L Comp. Now, the L Comp being a 586 as opposed to a 686, that just means it's made of carbon steel and it has a black finish to it, instead of being a stainless steel gun like a 686. That's really the only difference. Mechanically, they're pretty much exactly the same. Now, the 586 is a 7-round model, but it's got a smaller frame. It is an L frame, so it's smaller than the in-frame 327 we talked about a minute ago, but it's only got 1 less round. So it is maximizing the rounds in the medium-sized gun when it comes to 357 Magnum. And this is just a phenomenal gun. It also has a 3-inch compensated barrel. Now, I don't know if comps really do that much at this size of a gun, but for sure does look good. And I sure do like it. And this gun shoots very well, so maybe they do something. It also shoots well because it's a little heavier. This gun's 36.4 ounces, which is probably, I think, the heaviest gun on my list, but it's still not so heavy that it's hard to carry, and those extra ounces help in recoil. This gun has very little recoil for a 357 Magnum pistol this size and this weight. So it is just an optimal carry gun as far as I'm concerned. You've got 7 rounds, which is a good number, of 357 Magnum, which is probably the ultimate handgun caliber as far as I'm concerned for self-defense. And you've got it in a package that is small enough to carry, easy to conceal, but still has enough weight to it that it's easy to shoot. So how can you get better than that? So the number one self-defense gun Smith & Wesson makes today, in my opinion, is the 7-shot 357 Magnum carbon steel 586L comp. All right, there you have it. There's my list. Now let's hear what yours is. If you want to add something to my list, take something off my list, or do a completely different list, feel free to put it in the comments section below. With that being said, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you come back again tomorrow. Until then, I just want to remind everyone out there to always carry, especially if it's one of these Smith & Wesson models I just mentioned, and stay safe until I see you again.